Hey, what's up, y'all? Back once again. Hey, what's up, y'all? Back once again at Iskosi Fun Day. You know what I'm saying? Dropping this knowledge and stuff like that. It's history of the people in this current event right now. You know what I'm saying? But before I get into this, I'd like to thank my ancestors. Much love to them. Thank them, for waking me up and giving me this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And also, I'd like to thank you, the subscriber, and or the watcher for watching. You know what I'm saying? Now, this comes from the Institute of Black World. IBW21st century.org. You know what I'm saying? And this article is called The Gentrification, the New Negro Removal Program. The Placing Black People and Culture. Gentrification, the New Negro Removal Program calls for an emergency summit. Gentrification has emerged as a major threat to black communities and have been at the center of black business and economic development, culture, and civil life for generation. Gentrification has become a watchword for displacement of black people and culture. Gentrification is a Negro removal of the 21st century. There's an urgent need for black African descent to amount a serious offenses to defend black communities from this insidious onslaught. During the Civil Rights Movement, Black Power era, the term Negro removal was virtually synonymous with urban renewal, local, state, and federal highway development projects that often disconnected and destroyed the stability of black communities. It's not unusual for a local highway project designed to benefit the residents from some suburb or a component of an interstate highway system to be routed to the center of the black community, uprooting and displacing black people or permanently weakening businesses, institutions, networks, and relationships that bound folks together. As an advocate for black entrepreneurship, correctly urge black people to create and support business districts in our community. It is useful to remember that the urban renewal destroyed thriving business districts in the black community across the country and the latter part of the 20th century. In fact, there is an historical pattern of marginalizing, subverting, or outright destroying black communities to thwart our ability to achieve our full political and economic empowerment and equity in this nation. Gentrification is the latest manifestation of this pattern. There's a multiplicity of testimonies about the destructive phenomenon. The caption of the featured article in the May 2nd, 2018 edition of the New York Times captured the essence of this crisis confronting the black community across the country. When homes no longer look the same, rapid change in Durham has left many black residents feeling unwelcome. The article details how the revitalization of Durham, North Carolina, has increasingly meant development and progress for the middle and upper income whites, but displacement for a large number of black working class and middle class people who can no longer afford to live in certain sections of the city. An article in October's 21st, 2018 edition of the Houston Chronicles is also illustrative of the growing concern about gentrification in black America. In Atlanta, the black mecca of the South, Vine City, the neighborhood where Martin Luther King and civil rights and political leader Julian Bond lived, no longer exists. Let me read this one more time. In Atlanta, the black mecca of the South, Vine City, the neighborhood where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and civil rights and political leader Julian Bond lived, no longer exists. It was wiped out by sports stadium projects. Public housing development after public housing development has been failed by an average advancing wave of progress. The Sweet Auburn district, which is once home of major black businesses, is now stagnant. In the face of this onslaught, a youthful group of community advocates called the Community Movement Builders have recently launched an anti-gentrification campaign to mobilize community residents and their allies to address the massive displacement of black working class and poor people from their neighborhoods. One of their slogans is, "Stop gentrifications, keep residents in the place." Development, in quotation marks, in Washington, D.C., the original Chocolate City has displaced thousands of black people, forcing them to move in surrounding suburban areas. The prosperous Central City neighborhood and black business district in Seattle, Washington, has vanished as blacks have been forced to flee to Tacoma and other outlying cities where housing is more affordable. In Los Angeles, the Crenshaw Subway Coalition is vigorously resisting a subway extension that will spur gentrification in one of the most storied communities in Black America. In neighborhood after neighborhood in New York City, from Brooklyn to Queens to Bronx to Harlem, gentrification is rapidly displacing hundreds of thousands of people. In a few years, Harlem, the cultural and political capital of Black America, will be hardly recognizable. Let me reread this one more again. In a few years, Harlem, the cultural and political capital of Black America, will hardly be recognizable. A Whole Foods store now stands where Malcolm X once held his legendary rallies. One more again. A Whole Foods store, now stands where Malcolm X once held his legendary rallies. That's crazy. Chocolate cities, once the domain of Black political and economic power, are vanishing. Chocolate cities, once the domain of Black and economic power, political and economic power, are vanishing as increasing number of whites who previous generation abandoned their urban centers for the suburbs are now returning to establish more comfortable and convenient spaces in closer proximity to their workplaces. Development to accommodate newcomers is driving up the cost of housing, especially rental properties, in a manner that's unaffordable for the large number of Black residents. Property taxes are also skyrocketing, putting enormous pressure on Black homeowners as well. As Black are displaced and replaced by newcomers, it is inevitably lead to a dramatic shift in political power from the neighborhood advisory boards to the city councils and to the mayor offices. Black power is diminishing. Let me read that one more again. As Blacks are displaced and replaced by newcomers, this is evidently leading to a dramatic shift in political power from the neighborhood advisory boards to city councils and offices of mayors. Black power is diminishing. What is equally egregious are the attitudes of some of these newcomers, whom the residents of the Black community sometimes characterize as invaders or neo-colonialists. This is because some newcomers are not content in becoming part of the community. They arrogantly attempt to change the rhythms, culture, and character of the community. For decades, they have been well established and accepted custom that scores of drummers gather on a destined day and at a regular time in Marcus Garvey Park in Harlem to play African music. But once a large number of invaders became occupants of a nearby apartment building, they began to blame police and petition local and elected officials seeking to ban this long-withstanding weekly ritual. In Detroit, 3 white women who are newcomers to a predominantly Black neighborhood falsely accused a Black man of being a pedophile and demanded the police file charges against him. The brother in question was starting a community garden on a vacant lot in the neighborhood, and the women protested this activity was taking place under their neighborhood in quotations. Fortunately, the judge dismissed the charges in the case of gardening while Black. Reports of these kinds of attitudes across the country is bringing a resentment and hostility towards the invaders. Let me be clear. As a civil right, any person in the United States has the freedom to live wherever they choose. People of African descent have waged a relentless struggle to achieve this precious right. People also have the right to live amongst their own nationality, ethnicity, or ethnic group, if they choose. Hence, they are Irish, Italian, Polish, German, and Jewish communities across in this country. On occasion, these communities are changing composition. Little Italy in Lower Manhattan in New York is now mostly shops and stores of people of Italian descent have largely chosen to migrate to other neighborhoods. Voluntary migration is the one thing. Forced displacement is another matter. Time and time again, Black people have faced schemes, targeted policies, and outright violence, e.g. Tulsa, Redwood, and to force their removal from neighborhoods and communities they worked and invested in to develop as their home. Black people believe in development, and no reasonable person will be oppressed to improve or progress that will better their community. The crucial issue for people of African descent is not development, it's development. That is replacing Black people and culture. Therefore, in order the challenge of the day is to achieve development without displacement. The question is, can development strategies be devised that is prioritizing improving the lives of the current residents and preserving the culture and the character of their community? The answer to that question is yes. The collective brain power, skill, experience, and will exists within the Black community or Black America, to mount an offensive against the Black community against gentrification, the Negro removal program of the 21st century. Therefore, we must gather our brightest and best, the conscious and the committed in our brain trust to devise plans and policy agenda to rescue and preserve Black communities. We possess the collective genius to develop just, safe, viable, vibrant, and sustainable Black communities. To that end, the Institute of the Black World 21st Century, IBW, is issuing an urgent call for a national emergency summit on gentrification to be convened in Newark, New Jersey, April 4th through the 6th, 2019. In conjunction with the annual commemoration of the martyrdom of our beloved Dr. Martin Luther King. Newark has been selected because the city's ambitious development plans incorporate community-based strategies designed to migrate gentrification. IBW has requested that Roz J. Baca, the mayor of Newark, host the emergency summit. This gathering is viewed as an extension of the milestone Urban Marshall Plan and the Black Economic Development Synopsis convened by IBW in Newark in April of this year. We envision anti-gentrification advocates, community economic development practitioners, mayors, urban planners, faith, civil rights, labor, business, and professional leaders attending the emergency summit on gentrification. The Urban Strategy Program of the Faith in Action, National Urban League, Democracy Collaborative, and Freedom Caucus for the Center of Community Change have already signaled a willingness to partner with IBW on this crucial undertaking. Now it's time to act boldly and courageously defend the Black community from destructive forces of gentrification. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. We must muster the collective resolve to stop gentrification from devastating our communities and from displacing Black people and culture. And we will. Now, this gentrification touch home to everybody that you know that's in the Black community because it's going down. You know what I'm saying? And in the neighborhood I'm in, and in the city I'm in and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? The area is not, it was all Black growing up, you know what I'm saying, in the 90s into the early 2000s. Then, a big massive switch came on through, you know what I'm saying? So now my neighborhood, which used to be an all Black neighborhood, is now flipping over. It's like a mixed neighborhood. There's a lot of white folks moving in, you know what I'm saying, doing what they do, and it's just been crazy around here. The neighborhood, I really don't even feel safe in my own neighborhood, put it like that. You know what I'm saying? With these white folks around, because they do a lot of crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? So in the area I'm close to, like I said in the article, talk about they moving closer to get the cheap property and buy it and skyrocket it up, which is happening. You know what I'm saying? That is also true. And also, too, a lot of these white folks is Clio. You know what I'm saying? They up here trying to get closer to, what they think is cheaper access to drugs and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we gonna defend our culture and our communities. I'm down. You know what I'm saying? Iskosi Umfundisi is down. He co-signed this program and he gonna be there. He gonna save up his money and get there to New York, New Jersey. And start being active in the local. Well, I'm already active in the local community of mine, but you know what I'm saying? Because this is something that gotta be stopped. We must preserve our culture, our cultural heritage, and our communities at all costs. Hey, this is Iskosi Umfundisi. Hey, saying subscribe to the channel. Much love to you and yours and your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Peace.